Hello, everyone. I am wanting to post this video because my heart was touched very deeply by my conversation with one of the women in this community last night. I really, I am sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm going to acknowledge that I am still struggling to find time to read the comments on the videos. I have not given up though. I am going to see if I can figure out a way to make this work in the new year. And if not, then we're going to have to figure out some other way to be in touch. But I really am finding it so so meaningful to be having these 15-minute Zoom conversations with those of you who have signed up for my newsletter and then schedule a call so that we can meet. I am really finding these meetings so helpful, getting to know some of you and like just hearing right from you about, what's going on for you and what your concerns are. It's helping to inform me about needs of our community. So deeply touched by this meeting that I had with a woman last night. The first takeaway was she really loves the state that she lives in. And the way that she said, I love in the name of her state, I could see that this was a source of strength and joy. And so I think it's good to just notice, what do you love that is happening right now? And really juice it for all that it is. Really feel that joy that you are feeling in what you love. So anything that is going really well, I encourage you to really, really, like, really soak it up, really savor it. I think that that's an important resiliency strategy right now. So she also brought up about um, the very, very few aggressive comments that are posted underneath my videos. She brought up one in particular where it was all capitals, "Get over it!" exclamation point. Like that was the message from this person. And so, like she shared that, she is feeling some trauma triggers from those comments. And so, why don't we just take a moment now to just detangle this a little bit for ourselves. So, first of all, if we kind of sense into the energy that's behind some of those comments, which, clearly they're from Trump supporters, there is that pretty familiar energetic signature of anger and impatience and, you know, my way or the highway. And like it's that it's really the opposite energy, I think, that all of us want to see in our world. And so first of all, let's, just call a spade a spade. These people are in a bad place. They are not connected with their hearts, and they're in this really aggressive place. And for them, like I want you to understand the value of you being in a heart-centered place, of being in a place where you are able to be connected with your heart, where you're able to feel love, where you're able to feel compassion, where you're able to feel grief. Um, that is a precious thing, that you still have your heart and you're connected with your heart. And these people, they're pretty lost right now. And at some point, we're probably going to be called into some kind of service work to help them when they're ready for help. So that's the first thing. Let's get some perspective. Anybody that posts a comment like that is kind of like somebody who has an alcohol problem, an alcoholic. And so let's first just get that perspective on those comments. And I also, like when I was talking with this woman last night, I told her, I'm not getting into discussion with people that are posting from a place of hate. Um, it's not worth my time to get into discussion. And, I think that there's a lot of thought leaders out there that say that Trump really gets his power from getting people upset. And so, you know, I think there's something to be said for that. And so we can choose where to invest our energy. We can get upset about these things, or we can choose to see them more as like a little fly that, we just brush the fly away. It does make me think about a really one of the transforming moments in my process of stepping into the leadership that I brought to my justice activism in 2018, um, where, for those who don't know, I challenged a very influential global Tibetan Buddhist cult, and I exposed the leader as a sexual predator. It is clearly, through all the media now, it is very clear. And I grew up in this cult, and so I always saw it as very powerful. And so this transformational moment that I had was when I was sketching and doodling, and I found myself drawing myself as this large figure and this very senior, powerful leader in the community. I drew him as this little tiny stick figure, and it was amazing to experience myself through this drawing as me being like large and powerful and him being small and insignificant. It really helped me to start to turn the tables and be able to move into a place of empowerment where I was able to create and lead a social movement that exposed the corruption that was happening in the leadership of this community. So somehow we need to find our way. Each of us will have our own way, finding our way into um, witnessing the greatness within ourselves. Because believe me, the value of you being connected with your heart right now is so great. It is your wealth. For you to connect with your greatness, your wealth, your power, and to see the smallness where these Trump supporters are right now. Really, they're coming from a very desperate place, and we just need to acknowledge that. So, um, so I wanted to share a secret to spiritual warfare in this particular video. Again, inspired by that woman who's part of our community. And so the secret that I would like to share to spiritual warfare today is to uplift your life and to uplift yourself. And this can be done in such simple ways. Like I was thinking last night when I was washing up at the end of the day, there were some water stains on the silver faucet. And I was like, I could just go grab this cloth and I can wipe it, and so that the chrome is really shiny, and that'll be uplifting for me in the morning. These are the kinds of little things that you can do that add some spiff to your life. So it's kind of like, we're going beyond sort of the self care of, you know, how can I make myself feel, more comfortable right now? This is kind of like stepping up your self care by uplifting your life and finding ways to uplift your life. And this is incredibly powerful for spiritual warfare, because I'm telling you, every step of my journey through Buddhist Project Sunshine, I realized it was a mind game. Was I going to let things that happen drag me down? Or was I going to figure out how to meet the challenge and up the game? And so, I was able to continually meet the challenge, up the game, until it was, officially successfully exposed. And I realized it was the mind game. So by uplifting your life, uplifting yourself, walking the high road, doing things with integrity, and like my little example of polishing up the faucet on the sink so that I would have it all shiny when I got there in the morning, cleaning your mirror, all these little things that honestly, do they even take 2 minutes? Probably not. I mean, in that case, it was 30 seconds. If something only takes 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and it would uplift your life, I'm encouraging you to do it. This is a time to uplift your life. Um, I, um, I, I'm not sure what order I'm going to post the videos in this week, but I am posting a video with where I am chanting a law song chant, the Tibetan Buddhist, an ancient Tibetan Buddhist law song chant. And there's one line in this chant that says, "Bury the black enemies upside down." And I would like to explain why that is there. Because in ancient Tibet, when they actually were having warfare, one of the most effective things that they would do to break their enemy was to actually physically bury the enemy upside down in the ground. This made it so that the enemy was not able to stand upright. And the reason why this was so powerful is because the Tibetan armies, they believed that if you're able to sit upright or stand upright with good head and shoulders, you are in your most empowered place. You are able to face the biggest challenges. If you are buried upside down, it's impossible for you to stand upright and to connect with your dignity. You're buried upside down, so you're not able to connect with your dignity. This was the way that they would break the spirit of their enemy. So I think it's a good lesson to us. The opposite of breaking our spirit is to uplift our spirit. So doing things that help you to connect with your dignity, help you to connect with being a good person, help you with connecting with that you're leading a good life, that you respect yourself. You should respect yourself for being who you are. Everybody that I have met in this community and the beautiful comments that I have read on underneath the YouTube videos, you are amazing, beautiful people. And you cannot let the outer circumstances alter you clearly seeing how beautiful and powerful and wise and needed you are. So that is really what I want to say here. And I see from my notes that there is something else that I wanted to add on into this video. And that is the notion of calling in spiritual help. So in another one of my Tibetan warrior practices, Werma practice, we call in this army of basically knights. They are warriors. They're in crystal armor. They're riding white horses. They're not even traversing on the earth. They're riding in the sky, and they're led by this king. These are called Dralas, and they're led by the king of the Dralas, Shiva Okar. And they are smiling. They have that peacefulness, and they have this incredible upliftedness that just causes you to want to sit up and cry, "Kiki so so." It's this incredible cheerfulness. And the definition of Drala is energy above aggression. So again, this is like getting out of the locking horns with people. And this is about elevating above that to a place of peace where you can look down on the situation of conflict and you can come from a place of wisdom and moving things really in the direction you want to move them in, instead of maybe being manipulated by somebody like Trump, who, wants to get you riled up and, have you lose all your energy in an angry fight with a Trump supporter. Like, he's really gaining energy from that. And I would even suggest spiritual forces beneath Trump are really the ones who are gaining energy from that kind of thing. So by us calling in the Dralas and connecting with the sense of energy above aggression, it is rising above this whole warfare playing field that those lower forces are wanting to create, rising above into a place of more spiritual white light, and being able to come from there in how we respond to whatever we need to respond to, or maybe choosing not to respond to it. So that's the idea of calling in the Dralas, which I am doing. I decided I am going to do that practice every day this week. So I'm really immersing myself in it, calling in the Dralas. And by the way, feeling a lot better, really feeling a lot more energy and cheerfulness. And for me, this even relates with, other contexts, like in a very powerful book that I hope many of you have heard of, Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. an amazing woman. When I first picked up this book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, I said, this is my Bible. And I'm not somebody who usually reads books more than once. This is a book that I have read many more times than once. It has stories in it that taught me a very different side of life. It helped me to connect with the power of being a woman. And so there is one story in there called Bluebeard, where I'm not going to say the whole story, but there's one piece in the story where the young female protagonist who mistakenly married this awful, awful man named Bluebeard, who actually is a murderer. He has murdered all his past wives. And when she discovers the truth of this, and he found out that she discovered it, then he said, well, I'm now going to have to kill you too. And so, here she is caught within the grip of this really awful man. And she says, I just need a couple of minutes to do something. I can't remember what excuse she came up with. And so during those few minutes of reprieve before he was going to murder her, she called out to her brothers. And like just spiritually, it was like, come, you must come, I need you to come. And she did this very like fiercely and sincerely. And two of her sisters were there with her, and it got to the point where they could hear Bluebeard's footsteps coming, like it was that close to end game. And the sisters said, we can see some clouds of dust in the horizon. And sure enough, the brothers were galloping on their horses. So again, just like the Dralas, they're galloping on their horses, and they arrive in the nick of time to stop Bluebeard from killing their sister. And so I feel like it's really important for us to tell stories and to hear stories like that at a time like this, because the forces of darkness, they will gain by us giving up hope. So there is a danger in giving up hope. And there's no point in rousing false hope. There is a point in really sinking into a sense of genuine faith that yes, we can turn this into something that is bright and light, and that we can actually create a better country for ourselves through all of this. There is something very important and very powerful about connecting with that faith that yes, we can turn this around, and calling out to, these spiritual forces of light, of the Dralas, of the brothers in the story of Bluebeard. It's important for us to ask for the help that we need, and to believe it will come, and that it will come in the time that we need, and just to keep that passionate response in our heart. That is so precious, such an important part of being human. So I think that I will tie off this video here. I've got some other really important things that I want to post in other videos today. So I will I hope that you will take some time to consider what I have shared here. And for anybody who is feeling in any way triggered by the little tiny flies of Trump supporters that sometimes post things under these videos, please do not worry. Look at how many amazing, beautiful comments there are. I mean, there is just this ocean of waves of love happening in this community, and they are definitely drowning out the voices of anybody who's coming from a place of harshness. There is a deep well of love in this community, and you are part of that. Okay, I will see you in the next video.